Hey guys, what's up? So we've got the official OCG July 2020 Forbidden and Limited list. These are of course showing the cards that are going to be able to be used and which ones are going to be removed. As you can see from this list, there are barely that many restrictions. I think this is partly because of the virus. Since people haven't been playing that much, Konami aren't aware of kind of what to ban, and so have kind of just looked at just generic things they might have planned to um, consider. You can also notice on there there isn't a limited card. So they've got a forbidden, a semi-limited, and a no longer limited list. They don't have any cards that I will just put to one. So the only card that has been introduced into the forbidden list is Linkcross. This is a Link monster. It's a light Cyverse type with one arrow pointing towards the bottom. It's got 900 attack and it's a Link 1. It does require you to use a Link 2 or higher Link monster in order to summon it. And if this card is Link summoned, you can activate this effect. Special summon a number of Link tokens. They're Cyverse Light level 1 with 0 attack and defense, up to the Link rating of the monster used for this card's Link summon. Also, you cannot use Link tokens as Link material for the rest of this turn. You can only use this effect of Linkcross once per turn. This card is considered to be incredibly powerful. Any card which allows you to summon tokens during the Link era is, considered very strong. Cards such as Scapegoat have also been very useful. The thing is that you can just link away something that you've gained the effect of beforehand, such as, Saryuja Skulldread, where you've already drawn your cards. Link that away into this, and you've instantly got some tokens to play with. Of course, they can't be used during the same turn, which is a good thing, because if they could, they'd be just too strong. The best thing is they kind of, if you can defend yourself for the following turn, then they can be used alongside this card to bring out things such as Borload Dragon, Sword Dragon, Topologic Bomber Dragon, any of these types of cards, which have also very powerful effects. I can see why this was banned, just because this card is just that strong, and having even one of them is just too much. It's also a very expensive card for that reason, and so there's a very big price barrier for most players. White Dragon Wyverbuster is a light dragon level 4 with 1700 attack and 1800 defense. It cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned from your hand by banishing one dark monster from your graveyard, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. You can only special summon White Dragon Wyverbuster once per turn. This way, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one Black Dragon Collapse Serpent from your deck to your hand. This card is used heavily in the Relies Black Metal Dragon builds in order to bring it out and search for it a lot faster. That's kind of why this has been banned. It's had a lot of kind of support with some of the Chaos builds as well. With the new Chaos cards coming out, I can see why they would want to kind of get rid of this, just to stop that deck becoming too powerful. It's on the semi-limited list, so you can run 2 of those cards now. Makiria, the Destructor, is a Dark Warrior level 4 with 1600 attack and 1200 defense. Its effect is, during a turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can activate trap cards from your hand. This card used to be incredibly powerful, but most people would consider playing it these days because it's quite slow. There are ways of kind of either blocking the effect or blocking the trap, which tries to activate from this card. This was used by Marek in the anime, and it's just kind of too slow to work now. You've got traps that actually work within the hand anyway, and so there's kind of no interaction with some of those. The next card is a Necrophile. This is a dark zombie level 4 with 1200 attack and 1800 defense. Its effect is, if this card is normal summoned, shuffle all banished cards into the deck. This card gains a 100 attack for each card shuffled into the main deck by this effect. If this card is banished, each player banishes 5 cards from the top of their decks, or their entire deck if less than 5. I don't like that this is coming out back to 2. My issue with this is it's used within most banished decks and some of the generic banished decks. It's too strong within that. And I can see just a lot of the format of people using these styles of banished decks with this card, alongside things such as Grandmaster de Isa, which is one of those painful cards. Which just, it gains massive amounts of attack very easily. I would suggest trying to run things like Imperial Iron Wall just to stop your opponent from banishing, or just even siding out for that card. So the next card is Lone Flyer Blossom. This is a fire plant level 3 with 500 attack and 1400 defense. The effect is, once per turn, you contribute 1 face-up plant monster, special summon 1 plant monster from your deck. The whole point of this card is this is very key to some of these synchro spam decks. However, it's kind of been back to 3 in the TCG, so I can kind of see why they've wanted to bring this back to 2 in the OCG. The problem with this card is, of course, these are just, when you get the synchro spam decks, they kind of level up into some of the higher decks. Some of them are quite linear, unless they're trying to be a little bit more creative. So if you're trying to face something like this, just try and run something that will kind of stop these types of effects from working, or at least disrupt them. The next card is Sea Diva. This is a water sea serpent tuner, level 2 with 200 attack and 400 defense. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon 1 level 3 or lower sea serpent type monster from your deck. This card has quite a few interactions with cards such as some of the Atlanteans, some of the mermail monsters as well. It's quite good for those types of decks. Of course, this can make a 1 card level 5 synchro monster if you wish it to. It's more viable, and it's actually one of the more decent tuner monsters and more common tuner monsters to be played whether it be a water attribute deck focusing on specific cards. And the final card is Drag Connection. This is a normal spell card which says reveal 1 dragon type monster in your hand, add 1 dragon type monster with the same level from your deck to your hand, then shuffle the revealed monster into the deck. The whole point of this card is you're switching out a dragon monster that you don't want for one you do. This isn't necessary within dragon type decks because they can actually search out their monsters very easily. You've got so much support for dragons that putting this at 3 isn't a big issue. There are so many other cards that players will be running above this. So what do you think of the OCG's list? Is there anything you're happy about? Were you quite disappointed with the list? And do you just think that, well, for me, I just think that the whole reason they're not making too big a difference or changes are these are probably things they've looked at in the past and have decided, okay, this is what we're going to do. But with the whole virus, this means that there's been less physical card play, no tournaments, and therefore they've had to kind of make this decision based on their own discretion. Whatever you think, leave your comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe.